Welcome to Regulate and Rewire, an anxiety and depression podcast where we discuss the things I wish someone would have taught me earlier in my healing journey. I'm your host, Amanda Armstrong, and I'll be sharing my steps, my missteps, client experiences, and tangible research-based tools to help you regulate your nervous system, rewire your mind, and reclaim your life. Thanks for being here. Now let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to Regulate and Rewire, an anxiety and depression podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Armstrong, a trauma-informed and nervous system-focused anxiety and depression coach. This is a show where I share all the things I wish someone would have told me on my healing journey, sharing my steps, my missteps, the research, and tangible tools that helped me reclaim my life from anxiety and depression in hopes of helping you do the same. For so long, I felt at war with my mind and my body and wasn't sure if there was a way out. When I finally got the courage to go to the doctor and ask for help, I wanted to better understand why I was struggling. And I, maybe like some of you, left just 10 minutes later with a prescription. And when I made my way to a therapist, it felt helpful to talk through things, but I often left thinking, well, what now? It felt frustrating for me to spend so much time talking about my struggle without having any tangible tools to actually start feeling better. And before anybody goes there thinking that I am bashing medication or therapy, I am absolutely not. There is a time and a place for all interventions. Different people need different things at different times, and I am grateful for all of it, as it all supported me in different seasons of my healing too. But my reality was that those two mainstream options left gaping holes when it came to the support that I wanted and needed. I didn't know where else to turn, and I got to a point where honestly I thought maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was just beyond healing. And what I have learned is that is absolutely not the truth. So like I said, this is where I'll be sharing the tangible tools and education I wish I would have known earlier in my healing. I'll share the research, personal stories, client experiences, and anything that I think might be helpful to pumping hope and healing back into your journey too. Because what we've learned in the last decade of neuroscience and psychology research is that so much of stress, trauma, anxiety, and depression actually lives in the body, not the brain. When we talk about this mind-body connection, 80% of that conversation originates in the body and happens from body to brain. Your nervous system is at the center of it all. And as you begin to learn how this system works, you can start working with it in powerful and tangible ways. And here's one of my favorite analogies to share with people early in their healing journey. I want you to imagine that you are on your way to the gym. You walk in and you see a 300-pound weight on the floor. Would you walk up to it without training and expect yourself to deadlift or to pick that up, the 300-pound weight? Most of you are thinking, of course not. Most of you wouldn't even try. And if you did, it makes sense that you might hurt yourself in that attempt. And yet so many of you are walking around with a 300-pound life that no one trained you for. No one taught you how to carry this load. So of course you're struggling. Of course it feels hard. And it's not your fault. As I learned to understand my nervous system, I began to realize that I was not too sensitive, too reactive, needy, anxious, or depressed. I began to see that every thought and action was an attempt to move me towards safety based on my past lived experience and my current life circumstances. I struggled not because I was broken or because I sucked or I wasn't trying hard enough or I didn't have the right mindset, but because we can only handle so much before our system gets stuck in survival mode. And I lived in survival mode for far too long. There are powerful ways I've learned to leverage my physiology, my body, and my nervous system to influence and heal my psychology, my mind. There are very real ways to push back against your body's stress response in real time, to teach it new patterns of safety. And there are other ways to increase your capacity to carry a heavier load. There are certain habits that hurt and others that heal, and knowing how your mind-body system works is the most powerful step in learning how to work with it instead of constantly feeling like you're fighting against it. I promise you are not broken. And there is so much hope for healing. I am confident that the education and tools I will share here on Regulate and Rewire will help you to take steps to reclaiming your life from anxiety and depression. Not just because they worked for me, but because we see them working for our hundreds of clients every single day. Our practice takes a unique approach combining nervous system regulation, somatic parts work, thought work, behavior change coaching, and it all follows our 4-phase neuroscience and trauma-informed framework of healing. And if you aren't familiar with some of those things, don't worry, stick around and you will be soon. Mental health looks different for everyone, and so will the solution. As I share what's worked for me and so many of our clients, I'll invite you to experiment and personalize it in a way that works for you too. I'll end each episode with 3 specific takeaways from our discussion. My hope is that with each episode of this podcast, you walk away with empowering education and tangible tools to help you feel more regulated, seen, and supported on your healing journey. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Regulate and Rewire podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review to help us get these powerful tools out to even more people who need them. And if you yourself are looking for more personalized support in applying what you've learned today, consider joining me inside Rise, my monthly mental health membership and nervous system healing space, or apply for our one-on-one anxiety and depression coaching program, Restore. I've shared a link for more information to both in the show notes. Again, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.